Okay, so that brings us to the closing comments segment. Each candidate will have 3 minutes each. You're by no means obligated to use all 3 minutes, but feel free. And despite the fact that we have 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans vying for 3 open seats on the council, I think a lot of folks, as we've seen this gauntlet of forums kind of unfold this election season, see a lot of similarities between the candidates and their positions on things. So as part of your closing statements this evening, if you would, please address how you would differentiate yourself from the other candidates in terms of how, if elected, you would work for business and economic interests to flourish here in Los Alamos. And to get things rolling, Pete, if you would lead it off.
I'm Pete Sheehy, and I'm asking for your vote to put me on County Council. When I first came here in 1986, I immediately felt this was a place I'd like to live. The work was good, the country was beautiful, and the people were smart and friendly. That's all still true, but in 2012 we've got some problems to work on. People are concerned about getting good value for all the money the county spends, and about how we can make our town more inviting to everyone, from students and single people, to families with children, to retired people. I've been all of these in my time here. I think I can offer a balanced approach to help meet these concerns. I'm focused on some very fundamental things: communication, prioritization, fiscal responsibility, and sustainability. Communication means listening to people and telling people honestly and clearly what our issues and choices are. That's where consistent priorities are developed. I have the time and energy to look at every detail of how we're spending money, to make sure we get good value for those dollars, and to make sure we run all our public services and facilities in an efficient and sustainable way. People are in pretty good agreement when I list priorities: public safety, infrastructure, education, and economic development, followed by improving our recreational amenities. Economic development is a priority for this community. We can support the businesses and recreational amenities that will make this a more family-friendly community, and we can make it easier for small business to thrive here, especially in downtown Los Alamos and Wyatt Rock. The county can use its land and focused infrastructure improvements to make lower-priced housing and commercial space available. And we can work harder at getting tourists up here to enjoy our unique historical, scientific, and outdoor recreational opportunities. 1,000 more tourists per month, or 1,000 more people living up here instead of leaving the county every day after work, would help revitalize our town. These are goals that can be reached as long as we work toward them in a smart and consistent way. We can afford all the important things for our community, as long as we prioritize. I'm Pete Sheehy, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Vince, you're up next.
In these uncertain times, with the budget of Lano not being certain, now more than ever, we need a county councilor who's been tried and tested. One who has a proven record of remaining steadfast in the face of determined opposition. I believe that I possess those qualities. My approach to government is one where I'm an independent thinker, and I make up my own mind on the issues. I'm not afraid to take the minority position when the minority position is the right position for our citizens and our families and our small businesses. And that's why, as county councilor, I stood with our firemen in 2010, when the council imposed a contract on them. They stand for us, and they work under very difficult conditions, and I was one of the few people to stand with them, because it's unfair to impose a contract on our firemen. On the issue of the LAGRI petition, I felt, and I refused to dismiss the petition, even though there was a legal controversy, because I feel that legal questions ought to be decided in court after an election, and our citizens have a right to weigh in and vote on a charter amendment that was signed by more than 2,000 citizens. We have many challenges facing our community in the future. And I feel that I have the energy, the ideas, and the determination to represent all of our citizens and help us achieve our goals. And that's why I ask for your vote on November 6th, so I can continue and we can work together and continue to put principles ahead of politics. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince. Mark, you're up next.
Kind of threw us a curveball by asking us to modify our closing statement. So, but I'm nothing if I'm not adaptable. I think differentiation, the first thing I'll talk about is I have a very practical experience living in Los Alamos and White Rock in northern New Mexico for 40 years. I've lived as the citizen. I've seen what the community can give, what it can lack, and what we need to do to try to bolster that. I've been on the board for Leadership Los Alamos for 8 years. I have studied the issues in depth. I have tried to provide training to people on the issues. So trying to give them the tools that they need to succeed. So I understand the issues part of it exceptionally well and the things that we need to work on. And finally, from a differentiation, I possess the combination of leadership and creativity and innovative thought that you need in a person on county council. So those are some differentiation things that I can talk about. Now I'll go to my closing statement, other part of it. I think Los Alamos is a great place to live today. And I want to serve on the council to help shape and improve the community for tomorrow. I am inspired when people with a positive attitude, enthusiasm, and commitment have the desire to work together to achieve common goals. I want to work with the county council, the outstanding county staff, and the community to create and maintain such an energized environment with the objective of transforming energy, passion, and innovative thoughts and ideas into tangible results. I want to help move Los Alamos forward, to add vitality to the community by enabling vibrant, cost-conscious economic development and improved infrastructure that generates excitement and makes people want to stay and live here. I'm committed to soliciting and incorporating the needs and desires of all members of our community as we plan and implement our economic improvement efforts. I want to help increase affordable housing as we grow our community. I will collaborate with all Los Alamos schools to enhance education opportunities and facilities. I want to build lasting coalitions and cultivate community and regional relationships to keep our rich heritage connected to today's world and position Los Alamos as a trusted partner in the future. As a taxpayer myself, I am also mindful of the necessity to be fiscally responsible in all initiatives and not create hardship for the taxpayers, myself included. I will base all of my decisions and actions on a foundation of core values that you expect out of your elected leaders that include honesty, integrity, responsibility, accountability, courage, fairness, and servant leadership. The choices made in Los Alamos need to keep us pointed in a direction that sustainably shapes and improves all aspects of our community. With the right leadership and innovative ideas, we can create our collective vision of making Los Alamos a town with the kind of energy, opportunities, and quality of life where people want to stay and live. I am that leader, and I have those ideas. And I look forward to your vote on November 6th. For more information, you can go to my website, www.clayforcouncil.com. Thank you, and I hope to see your vote on November 6th.
Thanks, Mark. Steve?
So my day job is to listen carefully, because usually things are brought in front of me that have already had subject matter experts do serious trade studies on and provide optimized solutions, but I have to weigh and measure. I have to understand capability impacts, make cost-benefit analyses. I have to trust the subject matter experts. I have to trust the staff that's doing the work, and then I have to figure out when not to meddle and when to verify. But then eventually you have to decide, okay? So the other point I want to make is that I'm also an engineer with limited analysis capability, patience. I got 90% solution is what we were trained, and then you start moving on something. I'm not an alarmist. I'm not an alarmist. I'm a pragmatist. I'm a negotiator. I'm a team player. Nothing progresses in this town for the council unless there's 4 votes. Okay? And I think I can work as a team player and work and make that consensus happen, and the consensus happen to move the activities forward, whatever those objectives, goals are. So I am committed to sustaining the quality of life we enjoy, a safe place to live, quality schools, unique recreational and cultural venues, and a no better place to raise a family. I will be decisive to progress effective government. I will look for and champion practical solutions that responsibly serve to balance the community's expectations for services with available revenues. So most sincerely, I am asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Kristen?
First of all, I want to say we are an incredibly fortunate community. This is an amazing place to live, and when you look at the state and when you look at the nation, we are so very fortunate here. And our problems are absolutely the nice to have problems. You know, gee whiz, are we spending our money fairly? You know, are we spending it wisely? You know, lucky us. And I think the things that differentiate me, besides the obvious from my cohorts up here, are my, I love that joke, I say it every time. My perspective, my background, and my goals, although in many ways I think a lot of us have the same goals. The question is, who is going to be, well, let me carry on. With my perspective, I believe that, first of all, in every job I have ever had, and frankly in dealing with my little kids, my main job is to listen to people and to understand and to really hear what their real issue is. And one of the things I learned in my various works, fields of work, both in technology and in houses, is what people say they want, you really have to keep listening to them to get at what their main concern is. And that is the one thing I'm very good at, and I'm good at trying to bring it all together and find the commonality. Where are our common goals? Another thing is that I am out there all the time in terms of being on a daily basis running into families. I work in White Rock and I talk to families. I'm at ballet pickup, I'm at swim team pickup, I'm talking to families all the time, and I absolutely have my ear to the ground. One of the issues we have, I believe, as a form of government is communication with our community. And I'm running to work within that process. We have at-large counselors. We need to show up, we need to email, we need to be at the council meetings to get heard. And that's one of the reasons I'm running, is to try to be the voice of those people who like some reasonable progress and our families. And I'm out there listening to them on a daily basis. And in my background as an attorney, I'm very well versed in the law. I'm also able to understand a lot of the things that come before the council. I am not running to be the county's attorney, but I can certainly bring that fundamental understanding to council and hope to share that. And with my real estate background, like I said, I know our neighborhoods and I know a lot of our issues, and I'm able to be creative with coming up with some potential solutions. And our housing truly is an issue up here. And thirdly, my goals. My main goal is that we are an amazing town, but we do need to evolve, and we do need to meet the needs of all of us. And with at-large counselors, the counselors need to listen to everybody and to help create a town with all the things that might come before us, to make our decisions taking into account all the people who live here and all of our various goals and weighing them and moving forward. I believe in having a great town that will help the lab, a great town will help economic development, and I believe having, okay, I have to stop. Thank you very much. I ask you for your vote November 6th.
Thank you, Kristen.
All right, I think all of us will say that we want to spend the money that the county has wisely. The question is, how do you make the decision of what's a wise expenditure of money? And I'm going to go and do the incredibly obvious distinction of myself. I'm willing to bet I'm the youngest person standing here in front of you. I'm probably one of the youngest people in this room. And that gives me a very different perspective. This is my home, and I aspire to one day retire here. I don't have children yet, but I hope one day I have grandchildren who choose to stay in this town. And so my decision-making processes are going to really keep that in mind. I want to make decisions, what's not just, but 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. I want to make sure that our investments are for the long term. And particularly given my background in environmental planning and the environmental conservation work that I've done, I think that I'm very well suited to making those decisions, to looking at ways in the way that we implement our projects, the way that we spend our money, how can we get the most for our expenditures over the long term. And I really am looking towards the long term, not just the short term. Yes, we need to survive the economic difficulties we have now in order to get to the long term, but if we ignore the long term, we're going to still be in difficulties when we get there. So I think that's one of the biggest ways that I think I can differentiate myself from the rest of my cohort here. And on top of that, I guess, rather than asking you for your vote on November 6th, I'd like to remind you you can already vote early, so I'm going to ask you to go to the county clerk tomorrow and vote for me tomorrow.
Vote early and vote often, that's right.
You're a young, smart one.
Well, that brings us to the conclusion here. It's amazing. Made it through all 4 segments. Melanie didn't have to ring the bell once. So I really want to thank the candidates, all of you. The idea that you are willing to serve and serve your community and serve your country is great. And so we applaud that. I thank you all for being here. All for taking time out from your evening to join us, and we look forward to the next election.